This is Coin of the Week. This week we're going to look at one of my favorite Australian rarities, which is the 1966 Wavy Baseline 20-cent coin. Now, I have seen in various forums on numerous occasions questions about what is this a wavy or isn't this a wavy. And so first we're going to talk about how to identify a Wavy Baseline coin. First of all, if the date is not 1966, doesn't exist. So this example is a 75, which is a similar design, but it does not, there are no known examples of a wavy baseline for this date or any other date other than the 1966. We're using this coin as a reference, and what we're looking for here is the shape of the two there. And you can see that it's flat, and in the 1966 example, most of those are flat as well. But the London Mint made a variety that has a wave in the two, which we'll see in just a second, which is quite rare and valuable. A wavy baseline in this condition should fetch somewhere in the $300 range, maybe more. It's been a while since I've checked. The last one I sold was a few years ago for around $300. Let's take a look at our example of a 1966 wavy. This particular example has a few problems. You can see these little spots on the coin. That's because it was stored in PVC. This is likely to have come in a set or something like that direct from the mint. And even though this is a mint state example of the coin, it does have a few problems and it requires restoration. So this is a coin that is worth sending to PCGS to see if it can be restored, and we will look into that in the future. I've already spoken to a couple of dealers about how to go about doing that. And stay tuned for that. We may have an update eventually, but that hasn't been sent off as yet. If we take a look at the back of the coin, first of all, you can see there's no wear. There are a few little marks and whatnot, but the baseline of the two has a nice distinct wave to it. You can see that it even pushes up the reflection of the water behind it. It's a gorgeous coin, and that little thing right there on your coin will make it worth at least $300, like we talked about. This example is probably closer to $1,200 to $1,500. If I set these two coins next to each other, you can see right away the flat versus the wavy baseline of the coins. Very clear. Some of the wavies are a little tricky, like when you go to look at it, like is it, isn't it? And that's understandable. We've had that happen to us a few times as well. But this is a coin you can still find in your change. In fact, the first time I ever had this coin, I spent it. I noticed the wave. I thought, oh, that's weird. And I spent it anyway, thinking nothing else of it. That was when I was first here in Australia. And so I managed to exchange my $300 coin for 20 cents, which was really good. Let's set these two coins aside and take a look at Numista and eBay. Okay, let's start with Numista. It's a 20-cent coin, Elizabeth II, second portrait, struck from 1966 to 84 in this design. KM number is 66. It's a copper nickel coin. And if we scroll down, for 66 you're going to see a lot of different varieties. So these are going to be the business strikes, London and Canberra, and then there's some varieties for various sets that were made. And all the way down here you've got the 1966 London Mint Wavy 2. And they don't have a mintage figure. As far as I know, no one knows how many were struck. We scroll down further. Here's where the rarity index doesn't really make much sense, because the 66 Wavy Baseline is obviously quite rare, but the 20-cent coin itself is quite common, and so this isn't very useful in this sense. And there are a number of members who want to exchange it. This is a highly desirable coin. If we go to available examples, I already scrolled down to some of the nicer ones. They start sort of in the $300 range, and this one here is particularly nice, but is not slabbed. But you can see it has a number of points where it's been contacted, so that's probably from the bin when it was struck. And this is an overexposed image from what I can tell. If we go to the next one down, it's got a lot of watchers. Here he's calling it an error. I suppose there's an error because the I actually don't know if it's an error or variety. It's an interesting question. I'm not sure what the official the official stance is on that. You can see that it was struck by another coin at some point, probably when it was minted, and perhaps here as well. Nonetheless, a very nice example with quite a pronounced wave in the baseline. And if we go over to some recent sales, this one, it looks like it sold for $6,000, but when I go and click on it, it says it's been relisted. So I don't know, I'll have to go see. I think actually that is the same coin as we were just looking at. Yeah, it's the same coin. So they've relisted it for $5. I'm not sure what happened there. But here you can see these are recent sales only a month ago. This one went for $32.50. If it'll let me see it. See original listing. So an average mint state coin is MS65. So it goes MS60 all the way up to MS70. The chances of you finding an MS70 for this coin, I think, are approximately 0. But as you dip below 65, you're getting into the lower quality uncirculated coins. So this one has some, so I can see it right away, it has a few little scratches on it. The example that we have is probably something like this kind of a grade if it gets a grade. So it may only get a details grade. We'll see what happens. That's a very nice example, and it did sell for $32.50. There are other examples as well. This example is one you could find in your change. You can find that this quality of coin can be found in your change pretty easily. It's, this is a VF kind of level of detail, and it supposedly sold for $650. Well, best offer accepted, right? So there are a number of examples selling in excess of $500, and $350, $300, $289. That's kind of your baseline for the coin. I personally would not put it at auction because, as you can see here, you have a coin that only realized $294 back in April, and if they had been a little bit more patient, even here, I don't know why that got $455, but here you have a worse example with a best offer accepted of $490. This is a coin where you figure out the price and you just hang on until it sells, in my opinion. I don't think that auctioning it is necessary, and I think you will lose out by not waiting for the right buyer to come along. That's going to do it for us today. Thanks for hanging out with me. Leave a comment if there's a coin you'd like to see featured on Coin of the Day or Coin of the Week, and we'll catch up with you next time.